Eisenstein there, my friends. Dr. Allen here, and today I'm going to share my 9 desk setup hacks that have completely changed my life. Now, if you're like me at all, you spend a lot of the day in front of a desk, in front of a computer screen or a laptop, and you've probably experienced some level of neck strain, maybe shoulder pain, back pain, or your vision has fluctuated, come in and out of focus, or you've had dry eye symptoms, all of these things. And the reality is this doesn't just feel uncomfortable or painful even, but this can affect our productivity. So I've invested in myself and made some changes, and I want to share them with you. So let's start with number 1. Now, number 1 is not only the most important, but probably something you didn't expect, but that is to intentionally take breaks. Now, I use a special timer that I set on my desk. It's a dodecagon timer I just got off of Amazon, but you don't need to use a timer like this. You can easily just use a timer on your phone. I just happen to like this timer because I know I'm too distracted by my phone, so this at least gives me an opportunity so that I don't need to look at my phone all the time. Now, perhaps you've heard of the 20-20-20 rule. Every 20 minutes, take a 20-second break looking 20 feet away in the distance. And this has been often spread by eye doctors as a good rule of thumb to help relax the eye muscles and reduce things like digital eye strain. However, that is not, in fact, built upon published literature or science. In fact, in 2023, a study went out to validate this, and they found that no, a 20-second break for your eyes isn't long enough. It's instead recommended at least around 2 minutes, up to 5-minute break is recommended at this point. And it just happens that that lines up with something called the Pomodoro technique, which is really good for efficiency and productivity. The Pomodoro technique is this. I set a timer for 25 minutes intentionally to work during that time. And then after that alarm goes off, I switch it over to 5 minutes, and then I take a break. Now, during that break, it's not just a time for me to open my phone and start scrolling. No, I get up from my desk, I do different stretches, I maybe do some blinking exercises. I also go get a drink of water. I use the restroom, or maybe I take a step out onto my balcony, get some sunlight, or even practice some golf swing drills, things like that. And this is not just a break for me physically sitting at my desk. That's good just to get blood flow, but it's also a mental break. It allows me to do a gear shift in a way, just to let things go. And then when I come back to work, my mind has gotten a moment to breathe some air, and then I get back to it. And I set this as my number 1 because not only is this something easy that everybody can start doing, but I think it's going to have the most significant impact on not just how your body feels, but also your productivity. Number 2 is to have just one screen in front of you on your desk, or at least one primary screen. I know this will blow some people's minds, but having multiple screens in front of you is actually awful for your eyes and for your neck. And I've made this mistake for years. Now, the reason why this is because if we have 2 screens, we often sit in the middle between them both. And we never fully face each screen. We're always sort of lateral to each one, or we're making large jumping movements with our eyes from left to right all day long. And those large movements prime our neck to make a movement. And that ends up straining your neck muscles. If you don't fully believe me, here is a cool activity to try. Take your hands and spread your fingers just a little bit wide and put them on the back of your neck between your ears at the base of your skull. And while holding your head straight ahead, move your eyes from far left to far right and far left and back and forth a few times. While doing this, you'll feel your neck muscles tense up on each side depending on which way you're looking. That's again because your eyes are priming your neck muscles of which way that it's expecting your body to turn and face. When I do this exercise, I like to push a little firmly to do it, and everyone's a little bit different, but when I first did this, it blew my mind. So it is best to have just one screen in front of you at your desk, or if you absolutely need multiple screens, have one that is your primary, and then just have a secondary screen off to the side that you occasionally glance at, or you can have it up above. Those are the best options. Now, number 3, since we are talking about a computer screen, let's talk about the appropriate height and distance of the screen, as that's going to help with some neck pain and eye strain issues as well. So you want the top of your computer screen to be about eye level, or just slightly below that, so that your eyes are looking slightly downward toward the middle of the screen. For distance, you want the screen to be about an arm's length away, enough so that you can give the screen a high five, or at least reach forward and touch the power button without lunging your whole body forward. And if you can, if your screen allows this, try to tilt the screen just enough so that it is facing your eyes. That'll give you a clearer image of the screen, and you're less likely to have to squint your eyes. Now, number 4 is for our laptop users, which is to get an adjustable laptop stand, right? Because if you use a laptop, you know how it is terrible for your posture, right? For your neck, for your back, everything. But if you get an adjustable laptop stand, you can actually prop that up so that this laptop is at the appropriate height for your eyes. And this works whether you are sitting down at a desk or if you're standing at a desk. Either way, you can adjust it. Now, number 5 is to consider getting a standing desk or an adjustable desk. I think this is great because not only does it allow you to change positions, which is good for your back pain and just adding some change to life, but it helps with your focus and mood. Now, I have 2 different offices. I have an office here at work, and then I have an office at home. Here at work, I have a dedicated nice wooden desk that I use for shooting YouTube videos and things like that. And this is something I invested in a few years ago. And if you do like the look and feel of this, you can easily find something on upliftdesk.com. They're not a sponsor for this episode or anything like that, but that's just a place that you can find something similar. Otherwise, for my home office, I have just an adjustable desk converter, which I simply got off of Amazon. It's got a lever underneath that when you pull it, it easily adjusts from a sitting position to a standing position and back, and both have been game changers for me, especially for whenever my back feels a little bit sore or I feel like I just need to stand up and I've been sitting too long. Number 6 is to get an ergonomic mouse and keyboard. Having a neutral wrist position is super important if you're somebody who spends a lot of time typing. And this not only helps with comfort, but also helps reduce the risk of repetitive strain injuries, things like carpal tunnel syndrome. Plus, if you are a laptop user using the adjustable desk stand that we talked about from earlier, then you're going to want a separate mouse and keyboard so that you can get things lined up appropriately. Otherwise, you're going to be trying to type like this, and that's just going to add more strain to your shoulders. Some bonus tips to help with your mouse and keyboard is to, 1, keep them somewhat close to your body so that you're not reaching forward with your arms to reach it. Also, keep your elbows at around 90 degrees or greater to allow for proper blood flow to get to your hands while you're typing, and consider a keyboard tray to lower it down if needed. Now, number 7 is to get an adjustable office chair. And this one can be a little bit more of an investment, but getting one that is specifically designed for proper ergonomics, especially for proper lumbar support, I think can go a long ways. Because this is going to be ideal for long sitting hours, which can dramatically improve lower back pain, neck pain, shoulder pain, and even things like your productivity. Now, I got my ergonomic chair back in 2020 from a company called Autonomous. Again, not a sponsor for this episode, but even though it cost me a few $100s at that time, it's already lasted me 5 years and it's still in good shape. But if you're looking into getting a good office chair, look into something that has a lot of adjustments to it so that you can get the right support in the right area for you. The major areas are certainly the height of the chair, depending on the height of your desk. Also, places for your arms, but also for proper lumbar support. Those are probably the 3 biggest areas. Now, at my home office, I was a little bit more on a budget. So I actually just got a rolling stool that has some back support, and I got that off of Amazon. It even does have a little bit of some armrests that are not perfect, but they are there if I need it. Now, number 8 is to get computer glasses. Now, not everybody requires glasses for working at the computer, but if you're somebody who notices your vision is blurry, or it's fluctuating, or you're experiencing eye strain, it's probably not a bad idea to see an eye doctor about that. Some people can easily just get a new prescription for glasses, and that may fix all the problems. But some people also may benefit from a dedicated pair for working at the computer, which is a little bit closer than looking at something 20 feet away or more. Now, pro tip is that if you're somebody who wears bifocals or a progressive or a no-line bifocal, then probably best to consider getting a dedicated pair of computer lenses. That is because if you're trying to look through that bifocal segment or trying to find the sweet spot in those glasses, you're going to be putting a lot of strain on your neck throughout the day. And if you're spending anything more than an hour a day in front of a computer screen for something like work, then yeah, best route to get a dedicated pair. And no, while blue light glasses are sometimes advertised as helping with things like eye strain in front of the computer, it's something that I personally haven't seen enough evidence to strongly recommend it for that reason. But Something you can think about is getting a good anti-reflective or AR coating put on your computer lenses, as that may help with some of your focusing and reducing some glare. Or consider getting a good anti-glare privacy screen for your digital devices. That can also be an option. And then number 9 is to treat your dry eye and be more aggressive about it. We know that when we stare in front of a computer screen, we don't blink as often and we don't blink as completely, and this results in a lot of dry eye symptoms as well as symptoms of digital eye strain. Some easy things that anybody can start doing: one are blinking exercises. In fact, I did a whole video going over the techniques used in the publications that have been shown to help with blinking more, and I did a whole video on that, and I'll put that in the show notes if you want to check it out. Otherwise, just using preservative-free artificial tears, things that you can keep at your desk, is maybe another option, or consider even using the new Wink serum from the Tear Restore company. That is another one that you just apply to the eyelids, and that has also been shown to help improve your blinking in front of these screens. Otherwise, if you know that you struggle with more severe dry eye issues, I have full other videos and playlists on the different treatment options for dry eye, and I'll again put those in the show notes for you if you want to check them out. Otherwise, a bonus tip I have for you, my friend, because you stuck around toward the end, and that is to, if you are having any issues with your posture or other problems with your back pain, neck pain, anything like that, consult a physical therapist in your area to see if you can get some exercises or something that they can advise you on. Because this was actually what happened to me. I consulted a physical therapist because I wanted to work on my posture and my shoulders and get my desk set up just the right way, and it's gone a long way. So that's an extra tip. Now, if there's anything that we talked about here today that you want to know more about, or if you want links to specific products that we mentioned, of course, I'll include everything in the show notes so you can find them easily. Also, I'll include some links to like any of our playlists on things like dry eye as well. But I mention that because dry eye from staring at a computer screen all day is something that I have been bothered by in my life. And so that's why we've dedicated a lot of videos to that and helping people through that process. So if you want to learn more about dry eye disease, how it affects us on the computer, and ways to help manage it, whether it be with medications or just with lifestyle changes, check out my videos coming over here to the side. Otherwise, keep an eye on it, and we'll see you in the next video.